Yo, YouTube, what is up? We got some rare Higurashi content incoming. Um, spice it up a bit. As a Higurashi player, I know the fan base loves picking people's brains for what's happening and stuff. Just from the nature of it being kind of like a whole mystery series, so I thought it would be a pretty cool idea to pick someone else's brain about it. Someone who has just finished Onikakushi. First off, I should also introduce myself. I don't know if you're new here. My name's Aiden. I'm a pretty big When They Cry fan. If you check out my YouTube, we've read through the whole main series. We've watched every single anime and the shitty live adaptations, and we're currently doing the console arts. And I read Umineko before, off camera, before YouTube. So if you want to check that stuff out, feel free. And I will pass it over to Jack. So,
Hey, I'm Jack. I apologize for the mic quality. I don't really know how this thing works. If you're a long time Aiden Reed stuff viewer, you may sometimes notice he talks to a guy named Jack in the chat when he live streams. That's me. I just beat Higurashi, the first chapter of it. I forgot what his name was, even though he just said it, I'm pretty sure.
yep.
Yeah. And I'm playing it on Kick at full racer. The mic quality is the same though, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will. I'll definitely link that in the description. And if you eventually upload it to YouTube, I'll also link that.
Yeah, yeah.
If you ever,
If I do.
if you want more
If you,
viewers, I think you should probably do it on YouTube though.
yeah, that makes sense. But
I know there are people kind of like me, like once in a while they're just like, yo,
oh,
I want some
I'm sure there's
Higurashi.
I'm sure there's two or three.
Two or three. True. Um, but yeah, you can check him over at Kick. Pretty good streams. He does have the modded version, but he keeps the OG stuff and does. He has voices, but also voice acts. It's like the best of both worlds for people who like traditional or not traditional stuff. Um, so first off, just before like we even like get into this, what did you know about Higurashi before going in?
Oh, well, I knew about the girl who goes Nipa. I knew
Mm-hmm.
her.
Yeah,
I think I saw Rena at one point. I knew
probably.
that the art was really different.
Yeah.
Um, looks look different from what I would generally thought of as like a, you know,
Mm-hmm.
professionally made games art style. And I knew it was called Higurashi When They Cry.
Okay. Did you know like the genre going into it?
I knew it was a visual novel. I did not know the genre of the visual novel, so when I first started playing the game, I sort of assumed it would be like a Twin Peaks style murder mystery, like in a small town. I don't know if that's Twin Peaks, but I've never seen it. Um, you
What?
know, I,
Wait, I didn't remember a couple of streams ago. You were like raging on me for like when we were doing this TV show contest about Twin Peaks, and you've never watched it.
uh, ignore that. Um, It is a good show. I have seen some of Twin Peaks when I was really young. I feel like there was a murder mystery in it, but I don't actually really remember much of what it was about. I just remember it took place in a small town and there was a mystery surrounding everything. I apologize. Not what this interview is about though. So I thought it would be like you uncovering the mystery of what happens in this small town when I started out, specifically as it pertained to that amputation, you know.
Okay, that's cool. I honestly thought you might know some of like the horror stuff just because it's really known for that. But
Nope, I
that's
did not know any of the horror stuff. I did not expect it to be a horror.
okay. That's dope. Um, and I guess just in general, like, how do you like it?
I think it's really, really good. I at points it made me legitimately unsettled. I
Mm,
enjoyed the characters, the slice of slice stuff was a lot of fun. If maybe it lasted a bit too long before it got into the meat of things.
mm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I quite like the game.
Okay, okay. Yeah, the slice of life stuff into the horror stuff is like it's pretty iconic. Like a lot of people compare like they say Higurashi's like the or Doki Doki's like the new Higurashi kind of. Uh
Um, I could
so
see that.
um let me do okay, top 3 characters. Go.
Uh, oh, oh, uh, Number one is Rena. Number
Mm.
two is Oishi, and number three is the forensic investigator. Come on, he's the best.
All
Oh my
right,
god,
base list. Oh yeah, dude, you're gonna love him in like chapter 6. He
I'm
actually
so
has
hyped.
he has the most lines there, I think.
He has the most. Is he the protagonist of chapter
the,
6?
the most lines of like his appearances.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant. I was like, damn, this game goes crazy.
Oh man, yeah, yeah, good choices, good choices. Rena's like been like one of the biggest characters I think for a while. Even though like maybe it doesn't seem it now, but like if you look at like all the merch, like all the figurines are like 80% Rena. She's just like
She
huge.
does look. She does seem like the poster girl, especially because, as you said, she's the heroine of the first chapter.
Mm,
So that
yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah. Um, how about do you have like oh wait, actually no, I'll question. What about Oishi? What do you like about Oishi?
I think it's cool.
Mm,
I like that he's like. I like that he seems to still live with his mom. I think that's kind of funny. Um, I like that he's really dedicated to figuring out what's going on with these murders in Hinamizawa. You know.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I like his relationship with Keiichi. You know. He really felt like someone you could rely on in the game. I guess someone that Keiichi could rely on in the game. It's not like he really did anything. The player, I mean. Um, you know, I just thought I thought he was a pretty cool fellow.
Okay,
I liked when you
okay.
played as him briefly. That was fun. Seeing his
Yeah,
inner narration and like how he thought of like what was going on and how quick he was to act, as opposed to Keiichi, who was very slow to do so.
yeah. Just teenager things, you know. You gotta be
Oh yeah,
dramatic
yeah.
about stuff. Yeah.
Dramatic as like murders and like your friends are trying to kill you. Like, geez, we get it, man. Was it
Like,
Oyashiro Sama or was it people? Who knows? Like,
come on, dude. Get over yourself, man.
dude, how I killed Rena. Oh my god. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, we did it. Uh,
We've all killed Rena at one point. Get over it, man.
okay, okay. How about do you have any like favorite scenes, specific scenes?
Oh, I really, really enjoyed the scene where like really stand out to me was like when Rena like pins you down and Mion gets the syringe and
Mm,
like it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna kill you, you know, like that one really, because I still have like some hope that they really cared about us, you know, and maybe they did and it's like a curse or whatever, but that moment really put a pit in my stomach, you know.
yeah,
um
yeah, for sure.
I also enjoyed the card game scene where they played Old Bachelor. That was probably my favorite slice of life scene.
Okay, that's the first one, right?
Yeah, maybe.
The one where he like gets introduced to the club and they're playing with the
I
deck
think it's
that's
the
worn
first
out.
one. Yeah, yeah. I think it's yeah. That's the first one. Now that you, yeah, that definitely is the first one.
Hmm?
Um, I also enjoyed. I really liked the "I'm sorry, go away" scene. That one was great.
Yeah, 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 the doorway thing.
Especially when Oishi, you're talking to Oishi on the phone, and then you look out the window, and there's Rena, bloodied fingers, still saying she's sorry over and over again. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when it also kind of creeped me out a bit because when it happened, I was expecting it to be that she was mouthing the words Ooishi was saying to you on the phone. Like I was expecting that to be what she was mouthing. So when she continued apologizing, I found it to be really kind of shocking and kind of added to the unsettling factor of it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people would say that the first one like might be the scariest one.
Uh-huh.
Like the last half was like really crazy. Not to say
Yeah, it
the
does.
not to say the other ones don't go insane. Like two and three are pretty much also goes pretty hard. Um,
All right, cool.
but I've also informed him that the first four are like the question arts and the last four are the answer arts, which again means basically they're like imposing a bunch of mysteries and questions that like make you think, and then they start to answer it by the answer arts. Um, so basically, if you wanna be a true hardcore gamer, you'll figure out the story after episode 4.
Okay, I'll try my very bestest.
I didn't, by the way, but I was close. I think you,
All right.
you start to
I
get
did,
it
I
on
did, I did,
Suits.
I did look at your some of your videos for Higurashi, just the first chapter after I finished it, and I
Yeah.
saw that you like had a rebuttal to someone's rebuttal to your
Uh,
fears. I was like, wow, this
that
went really
was
deep.
that was a weird time. Like there's this guy that I think I like pissed him off in the second game, so he never commented again. But he used to
Oh damn.
like he asked me if he could like basically do what I'm doing to you, but it was more based on the mysteries. And like there's this one,
That's quality, I
yeah,
guess.
there's just yeah. And there's this like one part. Well, I can't really talk too much about it because it was all in part 2. But he was like trying to like prove a point, and I'm like, I don't know, bro. And then he's like, watch the anime opening. Then I'm like, I'm not watching that. That's spoilers. And then
Watch the anime opening. You don't get it.
you don't get it. And then like I don't. I at the end I was being like kind of rude to him because he was being kind of annoying. And then he
I mean,
left.
that's kind of rude. Like
Yeah,
they let you like figure out the mystery at your own pace, man. Why you gotta watch the fucking anime opening?
yeah. I mean, obviously, like he was right about this one fact, but like I don't know, like you know.
Yeah, like you're just not at that point in the game. If you don't have all the information, you don't watch the anime opening to realize. Then like just wait.
Yeah, anyway, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, theory making like in this game's really fun. I think like the next game in particular, that was like my favorite part for doing theory making because there's like a lot of cool and like kind of solvable mysteries they pose. Well, this
Yeah,
one,
cool. Because a lot of these mysteries these were not solvable mysteries. They were all pretty up in the air.
yeah, and that's why he's definitely not watching right now. I mean, also I
I mean,
am.
maybe he is. Maybe look in the comments and be like, I knew you remember me.
Yeah. By the way, this is being live streamed. If you ever want to like catch the live streams, you can, even though this is being uploaded
Yeah,
now.
yeah, they're on Saturdays and Sundays, usually around 7:30 or 8:30.
Yeah, that whatever time that is, or
In my
normal
time,
or
you
normal
figure it out.
time, 9 and 10 Eastern time.
No, this is normal time and 8:30 or 7:30.
uh oh shit. What I forgot what I was talking about. Um yeah, it was just favorite. We were talking about favorite scenes and stuff. That's cool. Yeah, I definitely like. I'm pretty like split between the two halves too. Like the end, the latter half is absolutely crazy, but the first half is just so goofy and charming.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the first half's a lot more fun. Like I don't know how the rest of the games just go with their first halves,
Yeah.
but for this game, I could see how looking back, it's a lot more fun because like you're so deep into all the horrifying elements of it, you know, and the mystery. That
Mm-hmm.
like those simple times are a lot more fun, I guess.
Yeah. So we did mention that you did your own voice acting, but is there like
Ugh.
any? I mean, it was very good. Is there any like?
You can go through that sentence.
Yeah, you should check it out. But check his streams out. There's some quality there. But is there any like voice actor you liked liked, or any
Oh,
parts
I
of it you liked?
really liked Rena's voice actress and Mion's and
Mm.
Oishi's too. I feel like I recognize one of the girls, but I already forgot which one for something else. Um, but I
That's
really liked Oishi, Rena, and Mion. They were the Mion especially. I think did really well, especially in the second half.
who? Oh, both. Oh, they
His voice
both did.
actress.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. They're. I always say that this cast that goes so hard. They're really good.
Yeah, and shout out
Especially.
to Keiichi for having a voice at all.
Yeah, yeah. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
I really like Keiichi's voice actor for me. I
Keiichi's voice actor is great. I think I don't like how much he yells.
I'm
I don't
opposite.
know.
I
I like
love him
playing.
yelling. I love him yelling. I
Like,
love his.
the thing is, he's yelling things I would like never like. I'm like, why are you yelling that? Because there's so much actual yelling he actually has to do. Why does he yell every sentence? Like a lot of them.
I'm just a freak that I like when they sound super distressed, and he like I can just imagine him being like super distressed all the time.
Well, and like I get why they like with the second half. I get why they got that guy, whatever he is,
Yeah,
as he would be super distressed at that part, but then he's also sound super distressed in the beginning part when you wouldn't be.
yeah, he's kind of a weird guy, but Keiichi's based kinda sometimes.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah. Sometimes, not really, that often.
How about uh music? How about music? Did you like any tracks? I don't know if you know any of their names.
I do not. I saw like near the end of the game during that 6 hour stream that they
Yeah.
had names, and I was like, wow, this one's called Higurashi Sakata something cool. But that's I can't actually. I like the music a lot. I like the one that's like boingy. I
Okay,
don't know what
okay.
it's called.
Boingy.
It's like it sounds like it sounds
Uh,
like it sounds like womp like boinging. I can't do it. But then there's also probably other songs in the game.
Okay, okay. So it's
But
something
I can't
you
remember the boingy one.
it's something you enjoy, but it's not like
Yeah, I
memorable
do
enough.
enjoy the soundtrack, and I like when I hear the song, I'm like, oh, I remember this song, or I like this track.
Hmm.
But I can't tell you how any of them go. I can only tell you one of them has like boingy sounds in it. This is a
Yeah.
great description.
Okay. Yeah. I actually think there is a setting that like shows. I don't know if it's good though. There's like a setting that shows what
Yeah,
track's playing.
yeah. I might turn that on just so I can. If we
Maybe.
do another one of these, I'll be like, hey, yeah, the boing one. I know what that's called now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about art too. Did you have like favorite sprites or CGs?
Oh yeah, for sure. I really loved Rena's not Rena, the other one. Mion Sprite with the gun. That was great. The Glock.
Yes. Yes.
Um, did they ever? Did the developers ever explain why they did that?
I don't know. Actually, they probably were asked that, but it's
Yeah,
such
I mean,
a.
like, I'm guessing it's just to be funny. I just want to see the interview where they say that, you know.
I will say later though, it does get utilized in the new anime series. That's all I'm gonna say.
I did see a GIF earlier today of her with like a machine gun or something.
That
So
that's
maybe that was
not
from the anime. I don't
that
know.
that's not the moment I was thinking of, but that is something that happened in the OVA goofy ass side stories. So yeah, I do
Okay.
remember that.
What was I thinking? Oh yeah, sprites. I also I will say that the one lady, I don't remember her name, but she like the one that goes missing
Yeah,
with Tomitake, whatever his name is,
yeah.
her sprite looked great. Like her sprite was like legitimately like the best sprite of the three when you're talking of the like the OG sprites. That's the only one where I'd say the OG sprite is like from an artistic standpoint better than the other two. Like I legitimately think that.
I
Um
yeah, I agree too. I've never like really like watched someone play with the OG sprites, so I was surprised though. That one actually looked really clean.
yeah. I like Tomitake sprite. It's really funny. because his arms look so weird because his shoulders are so small, but then his biceps are huge. I think it's really funny. It
Yeah.
kind of becomes insane. And he has like a yeah, he's great. I love Tomitake's Sprite. Um I liked the one sprite of Satoko with the collar on because it looked like she's wearing a belt around
Yeah.
her neck.
Yeah, that one was that one
It was funny.
wild.
Yeah. The like dead-eyed Rena sprite
Mm.
legitimately kind of freaked me out
Oh
when I
yeah.
first saw it. I also like the Rena sprite where she's like has like her hands up and they kind of look like paws, but like they don't like look like paws. Like she has like a
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a
Like the
cat would like have paws
goofy.
up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that one's fun. That one's fun. Any other great sprite? I can't think of other. Yeah, I think that's it for the really good sprites that come to mind.
Okay, okay. How about
Oh, yeah, I also
oh,
like Rena's outfit. If you watch the stream, you know I
mm,
like Rena's casual outfit. I think it's really cute looking.
it
And the
is.
best school uniform was Nippon Girls. I don't remember her name.
Okay. Rita. I agree with that. I do like Rita's outfit the best, just as I think it's like the suspenders plus bow tie. She just looks like funny in a good way.
That's funny. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. She looks kind of yeah.
goofy funny, but classy goofy. Okay. Um, what about CGs? Did any CGs stand out?
Yeah, the one where Mion, not just Mion, because it also showed it for those two
Yeah.
random guys in the
Oh yeah, yeah.
in that one place, the dam. But the one with just their eyes, that one was so unsettling.
Yeah.
Um, I also like the one. Sure, there was another good one in there. I like the one where Rena was standing outside. I already spoke about that one. Was so good.
Yes, yes. The
Especially because I don't seem to remember if the prose, like the actual text, ever said she had bloodied fingers. So being able to see
no.
the bloodied fingers in the scene really added to the horror of it, and
Hmm.
the unsettling nature, which was a bit redundant of me to say, but whatever. Um, yeah, those are my two favorite CGs, definitely. I also like the one where they all sit down for the first time.
Right, right.
Classic.
The group shot, yeah. Okay, okay. Good choices, good choices. Now we're gonna move on to more of the mystery aspect of it. I think the first question I have to ask is, even though I know the answer, um, are you a curse believer, a person believer, or like a little bit of both believer? I don't
Oh,
know.
a little bit of both.
Okay, okay, interesting.
Because the game pushes so okay, the game pushes so hard. You have to make a choice between a curse and not. The only reason I think it might not be a little bit of both is because at the end, like the final hint or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it says Keiichi goes, "Oh, it's both." That's the only reason I think it might not be both, is because they
Just
told you
Keiichi
it might
says
be
it.
both.
Yeah, but
Yeah, because Keiichi says it.
they say it's either cursed. I mean, they say all the options though, if you think about it.
They say all three of the options, but I
Yeah,
swear to God, there must be like a fourth other option, like it's like aliens or something.
that would be insane. But yes, okay, okay, respectable. Little.
But yeah, I if I had to guess, I would say that the story will be like it's a curse, but it's like a curse sort of brought about by some sort of human interference, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's mystical, but the mysticism only comes from like humans, right? I guess if that makes any sense.
No, explain it better.
Fuck. Uh, Basically, I think that like people's feelings kind of take form and create this
Oh,
curse
okay.
that
So.
is over the town. Like it's like it's a curse brought about. Like there is like a force, but the
Mhm.
force only is brought about by the feelings of people or something like that.
Okay, I get that. Have you ever watched the movie Ju-on or The Grudge?
I don't believe I have no.
Okay, I was just trying to compare to that because that movie's about like someone dying and then they curse really hard and then there's just this lingering curse that kills the killer, but then it just stays there forever. So anyone who like moves in that
Yeah,
house gets cursed. It's
it,
like,
it, it would be similar to that, but it's more like of a collective thing. Like all of
yeah.
Hinamizawa shares this feeling, as opposed to just one dude. Although I really want Oyashiro-san to be real, that'd be really funny. So
So
if I had to
so
choose one or the other,
okay. So like if from that explanation you're saying because of that collective feeling the curse is the one killing people? Is that what I'm getting from it?
no, like it's like a curse, but the curse is brought on by people.
Mm-hmm. But
Right?
like
Like people created it, so it's both people and a curse rather than being a curse brought about by Oyashiro-sama or something, you know?
but what is the curse doing? Is it causing people to die though and disappear? Is that what I'm
The curse is taking over people's minds or something.
Mm.
I guess, because Mion acted pretty weird at that one point, with her eyes. It's not just Rena. And the thing I also have is like they say in the hints, like, oh, multiple personalities. They never say the actual disorder,
Right.
but they talk about multiple personalities, which makes me think that this is causing people to act differently, like they have another personality, but it's not necessarily dissociative identity disorder, which the game does use the modern terms for these disorders, since they say
Mm-hmm.
bipolar disorder, so manic depressive. Um, so I think it's going to be like another personality is brought about, perhaps like murderous intent, um,
Okay. Okay.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my
So
best. That's my best.
so basically, you're saying the personality change we see in Rena and Mion specifically is because of the
Maybe not Rena.
not Rena, not Rena.
Maybe not Rena. Well, maybe
Wait.
Rena. Maybe not.
So okay, okay, I get that. I get that.
Maybe Rena's just crazy.
Maybe she's just crazy and Mion gets cursed.
That was a thought I at one point was like, what if Rena is just like a crazy stalker, and like
Mm,
everybody else is normal, but but Rena's crazy.
that
It's
would
just
be
Rena.
okay. Yeah, Rena.
Like everything else is a coincidence, but Rena is actually insane and actually wants to kill
Oh, that would be something. Yeah.
you. It
Okay.
doesn't make any sense because of the ending. But like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There was definitely some coercion between Mion and Ren at the ending, though, right?
Yeah, definitely. Unless Mion was just joking like with that needle. She was like, ah, it was just apple juice inside the syringe, Keiichi.
Would that be like safe though if you inject apple juice in someone? I
I
feel
don't
like
know. It's like a sewing needle. It's like to put a sewing needle in someone's food.
a
And then
fair
it's just
point.
going.
Fair point. Fair point. Okay, so we get the idea that you're sort of a both believer, and there's some
Yeah.
possession or craziness involved. Now I'll just go through like some more specific stuff. So they bring up this idea that every year someone dies and disappears, and they
Mm-hmm.
kind of explain the four past murders, kind of, and give you an idea of
Mm-hmm.
them and how they're all separately resolved, even though it's super sketchy that they're happening in the same time period. Do you have like any thoughts on like what's happening with that stuff?
Um, well, the end of the game, right? They show you how the murder of Mion and Rena is resolved. Although it's not actually resolved. They said the case stayed open,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So like you can kind of see how radically wrong the police were despite Keiichi's best efforts and Oishi speaking to him and knowing kind of what happened to some extent. The
Mm-hmm.
actual conclusions reached by the police were wrong. So you could thereby infer that the previous deaths perhaps had a similar issue to it. It doesn't really make that much sense since some people actually confessed, like with the drug user who
Right.
beat the housewife to death, or uh
The first murder with the group
the
dismemberment.
first murder with the 5 people.
Yeah.
Um, like those ones don't make too much sense, but the other ones work with that, right?
Okay.
It could be that the very first murder was just if it is a people explanation, the first murder was just something that happened, and that every murder since then um, was part of this grand conspiracy. But that probably isn't true. That seems kind of like the boring answer, you know?
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering, do you think they're connected? Or like some of them are
Oh, for
connected?
sure. Based
Okay.
on the ending, they all have to. Based on the ending, I mean, like unless everybody in town just went crazy this year,
Yeah.
they're probably connected. Especially since that whole thing with the Onikakushi, you know, and the swamp is called Onikakushi, and
Right.
that's both where I believe the arm went and the wife of the priest. I think it makes the most sense that they'd be connected. Also, it would be really boring if they weren't connected, right? That would be kind of lame. Like, oh no, it was always just a coincidence.
Yeah, but I feel like at this point though it's more natural to think it's not a coincidence, or it actually would be a surprise if it was a coincidence. Or like,
Yeah, it would be a surprise, but it would be
but
boring.
it
Like it'd
would be
be oh no,
boring.
you know, like I'd be like, oh, that's shocking, and also kind of underwhelming.
Okay, okay.
Maybe
Just
I won't. Maybe it is all a coincidence, and I'll be blown away. I'll be like, oh my god, this is the greatest story ever told. But right now, I think from a storytelling standpoint, it would be really weird if it was all just a coincidence.
okay, wait, hold on a sec. I think my
Although one thing is for sure, Keiichi died a few days after the Wat Nagashi, right? But
mm-hmm.
one person already died and one person disappeared, right? So that's not the same pattern as the previous murders. So that's a bit suspect.
Wait, sorry, repeat that. I was not paying attention at all.
Keiichi died and his corpse was found a few days after the Wat Nagashi.
Yes.
That's not like the other murders, except
Mm-hmm.
for the one with the housewife, where he the drug user choked on his spork. Um, right. So that detail is different and could give credence to the notion that, in fact, this is actually some of them are coincidences and some of them aren't. But I think they're all connected. I think that would make the most sense for sure.
Okay, I think you brought up some good points. I just um first off I want to say, so basically because of how Keiichi's like the whole incident at Keiichi's house was portrayed, do you think there's like a possibility that the other like crime scenes were like tampered with or something to make it like hiding the truth of what happened there?
Perhaps, but keep in mind the only tampering done with Keiichi's crime scene, which, as far as we know, is the only crime that occurred where
Mm,
uh like a victim fought back and actually successfully killed two of the people. You know, the only tampering that occurred was they took the syringe and
right.
they tore away the reference to the director's existence. So, because of that, I would think that perhaps the other crime scenes were tampered with, but they probably weren't tampered with to any great degree. Maybe the earlier ones were tampered with more so.
Okay. Oh, also, I just wanted to like mention something. I don't, you can let me know in the comments. I think it's fine. It's not a spoiler. It's information presented that I feel like a lot of people just misread or just don't get. Like I literally didn't get it until like the final chapter when they talked about it again. And it's they say it multiple times. But like for the very first murder, it's not like for the dismemberment murder. I don't like, you might know this, but you might not. It's not the villagers that it wasn't villagers that killed him. It was his own employees.
Yeah,
You
I
knew
got
that.
that. It was not the villagers; it was his employees. I knew that. Yeah.
I literally didn't know that until the final game. And I
Yeah,
feel
it's like my thought process the whole time was maybe it wasn't his employees
okay.
um because they're not residents of Hinamizawa and neither was he. Other than him, and the murderer who disappeared, every other victim was in some way, shape, or form a resident of Hinamizawa, including Tomitake, who
Mm.
was made an honorary resident by Mion.
True, true. Yeah, that is a good point. And I'm not saying if they were villagers or not. I was just I'm just saying that they said that in like the newspaper or whatever. Because I was like
Yeah,
for
no,
the,
I caught that. I did catch that detail.
yeah.
I'm really cool like that.
You are. I feel like I've read a handful of Higurashi readings through my day, and I feel like most people just never pick up on that. So that's good. I did it.
Although you probably would think that I didn't pick up on it either because I never mentioned it.
Yeah,
So it
that's
must be
why.
good. The reason you know is because I did this.
Exactly. Okay, so more good points. I guess also I would like to now I'll say like okay, so we have this Keiichi murder. Do you think it's like in connection with the curse stuff? Because technically the curse already happened with Tatano and Tomitake, right?
Yeah, the curse already did happen. Assuming, of course. No, it must have because they did find Keiichi's body. I was gonna say, assuming they don't find that woman. I forgot her name. Um, but they did find Keiichi's body, so it's not that he was disappeared. He still is around. They found his corpse.
Yes,
It
they.
must involve the curse, assuming the curse is like taking over people's bodies,
Hmm.
right? Like at the end, not at the end, but Rena refers to she says she was also transferred, right?
Yes.
Which perhaps that means that being transferred does not refer to dying because Rena's not dead. um, but Keiichi
Oh,
didn't end up getting transferred; he was killed. And I don't remember if they said he was going to get transferred. They did not. They did not. They just said that you're going to end up like Tomitake. So, um, we could think that perhaps getting it could very well be that it's not the curse, but maybe the residents are trying to do something about this. Is off the top of my head. I've not thought of this at all.
okay. Okay.
Do you think about the curse? Like that's line where she says she was transferred has really got me thinking about what this could all mean. Like maybe the residents aren't like the director isn't acting with the curse, but rather he's trying to act against it. Like maybe in killing Keiichi, they're stopping him from getting transferred, which is a fate worse than death. I don't know. That sounds kind of dumb, but yeah.
No, no. Okay. Yeah. That no. That's cool. I was gonna ask you about the transfer stuff, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense because they do like during that chasing, Rena is constantly saying, "I'm not gonna let you transfer Teichi. I'll save you" and stuff like that. Even
Yeah.
though she was
And
chasing
like,
him with a hatchet.
yeah, exactly. And like, but at the same time, so perhaps she views death as a better alternative to transferring. But at the same time, she also says we'll be able to go back to playing games and the like, just like before, which implies her initial plan was not to kill him, but to somehow free him from Oyashiro-sama's curse, which obviously means that you hold a metal bat,
Mm-hmm.
just like Satoshi and Rena did.
The metal bat theory. I had a theory like that. I seriously looked into it, like Satoshi Teichi. Why is it always metal bats? But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. It's a weird one. Um. Also, again, I told you before, but I think it's almost better to think of director as manager.
Yeah, they did say like a director in a movie or the manager at a thing or whatever. I assume the Japanese word for director is the same as the Japanese word for manager or foreman. I'm just
Yes,
saying the director because that's what the
that's
translation
what I
says,
told you.
and I think it's a much cooler name than
It
the
it
manager.
it definitely is cooler. I just know like from my time, I received like well, I don't want to say a lot because I don't get a lot of comments, but a handful of comments that were like telling me that the translation kind of messed up, and it's just for theory making. It's a little easier with manager.
Yeah,
Uh,
the manager. Again, it's entirely theory that I brought up during my playthrough. The director, the manager, is the
mhm.
foreman's hand after gaining sentience. I think that one. I think that may be the case.
Hey,
You know.
go as wild as you want, man. I definitely went wild too eventually, but um, yeah. What was I trying to say? Oh yeah, so we know how they all died. What do you think about Tomatake's and I guess Keiichi's death? Because those like really seem like very curse-like, the ripping of the
Mm,
throats.
yeah. The thing is, when Keiichi got to the payphone and spoke to Ooishi, he said, "I used to think it was people, but now I definitely think it's
Mm.
Tomoshiro, or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
his name is,
yeah.
Sama's curse." Right? Which to me sounds like he's just started ripping out his throat.
Mm.
It wasn't like he was given a syringe, but he just started ripping it out. So maybe, and this is again something I just thought of, maybe when they said what's gonna happen to you is exactly what happened to Tomitake-san, they were administering the shot to stop him from doing that. That's probably not the case, because they
Okay.
did do some other stuff, and I don't remember the specific wording of it. They either said we're going to do to you what we did to Tomitake-san, or what's going to happen to you is what happened to Tomitake-san.
Yeah, they I'm not 100% sure. I think when they pulled out the needle and teacher's like, "What's that?" and it's like, "Oh, it's what we used on Tomotaki-san." I think that was the
And I
close.
said what we used. Okay,
I
so
think
then it's definitely not the case, and they were trying to get him to rip his throat out, I guess.
maybe
Uh,
I'm wrong though. Maybe I'm wrong. Your
well,
theory was pretty dead.
my theory clearly is wrong because you, who knows how the game ends, said they didn't say that. They might have said the other thing. You know.
No, I'm trying to think of the exact vote for maximum helpfulness. Okay, I'm not
Yes,
commenting
yes.
at all.
I'm planning on taking notes from now on, just so I can
Yeah. Oh man,
be
my
prepared for this.
yeah. It
Because like I was already thinking like, oh gosh, I really need to remember some of this stuff, but I do think that one, the fact that he both A, got to a payphone,
yeah.
and B, said it was a curse, makes me feel like um, it is the case that Tomea, that he wasn't administered the shot and started ripping out his own throat anyways. Because if they got him and administered the shot, why would they then let him go to the payphone to talk to Ooishi, who they knew he was in contact with,
Right. Right.
right? And Mion even said, "I'm gonna kill that guy," in reference to Ooishi, and that she like spared him because he only had a year left till retirement. And they never state whether or not they did end up killing Ooishi. But yeah,
Okay.
because they're
Okay.
talking about
That.
Keiichi, and he's secretly an old man with 1 year till retirement. Oh, or maybe when she said I was going to spare him because of only 1 year to retirement, what she meant was he was going to be the next victim of the Watanagashi and retire in reference to Keiichi. Um, but she's just going to kill him now. That could be it. They never said her name, and they never said his name, did they?
Sorry. Sorry. Repeat that.
When when Mion said I was gonna spare him because he only had 1 year till retirement,
Yeah.
I assumed she was referring to Oishi, but it's entirely possible she could have been referring to Keiichi, right? And he was planned to be the next victim of the Watanagashi, but she ultimately was like, "No, I'm gonna retire him early instead of retiring him next year. I'm gonna kill him now." You know, that could be it. Just throwing it out there.
Okay. Okay. I do want to say that the line before she says that
Said
cursing
Oishi.
Owishi. She was cursing
Uh,
Owishi because she. I think it was more like the lines of, "Oh, so Owishi's the one who told you that," like that.
she did say, "Oh, Oishi's the one that told you that," and then she went, "I'll kill him, even though he only has your retirement. I spared him." You know, so I thought that maybe like those are separate clauses, and
That could
now she's
that
talking about Keiichi.
They could be. I
Probably
was
not.
just
But that might be. It would be really weird if you said, I'm going to kill him even though he had only 1 year to retirement. Is a weird way of saying that since you already said kill. So why not? Why now use a euphemism for kill? Like in the
I
next sentence? Doesn't really make
I
sense.
actually now that I think about it, I do think like the exact line she says about killing is, "I should have killed him back then."
Oh, she does. I remember that now too. Okay, ignore everything I just said.
Okay. Oh
Unless she means back then when like in the last plot Nagashi, I don't know. Clearly that's not the answer though, since you're
no.
you just
I'm being the devil's advocate. I'm just pushing back a little bit
okay. You're
around.
devil's advocating. All right.
But just to go back to the Tomitake Keiichi death. So you think they were curses? Is that what you're getting at? And they were trying to stop him?
I have no like absolute theory yet. There's not enough information. I'm just
Yeah.
looking at possibilities.
Okay, okay.
You know, there's
Cause
no one thing like this is definitely what it is. We're still way too early on to decide on that. If I was writing this story, it would be
yeah.
both. That's what my if I was writing this story, it would be both a curse and people.
Okay, I was just checking on that one specifically because that's the most like curse like death. Um,
But it certainly is.
especially
But
like
yeah. Oh, except for the guy who choked on his spork, that was definitely some kind of curse. Like, how do you do that?
yeah, I mean again, it's just karma. Um,
Like, shove it down his throat. Like, how do you choke on a spork?
I don't know. I'm not a sport user. I'm
Where do
not a
you even get a spork?
weirdo.
He was in prison. Where do you even get the spork?
That's why he had a sport, man. They only give prisoners sports for their crimes.
Damn, that's harsh.
Okay, so we talked about that. Oh, there was another sort of curse-like incident involving Keiichi after he had his first altercation with Rena, where she's like, "Oh, you're just like Satoshi," which we'll also talk about now that just said that out loud. Where he returned home, then he like felt a presence behind him. Then he looked around, and though he didn't see anything, he said, "Oh, there's definitely someone there, but you can't see him." And then he started like smashing his walls and like swinging through this person he thinks is there. And he says while the hits aren't hurting, the the person feels disturbed and like disappears. What do you think that's about?
It's either Rena, boring answer, or it's the goat Oyashiro-sama, who's always with him. Uh, because Rena did say before she was following right behind him at the grocery store, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, uh, yeah, it was like the same sort of thing. But although that time he saw a shadow, which implies light was like hitting her, which this guy clearly was invisible.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's definitely probably something. It's not Keiichi just being super stressed
Super
out.
stressed. Okay.
Although it could be that. Um, but I think that it was probably I don't know. I have no idea. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay.
I have nothing. It's probably Rena or it's Oyashiro-sama, but it would be weird if he felt Oyashiro-sama's presence then, since Oyashiro-sama, both according to Rena and him at the end of the game, was always with him. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
I must have been a presence other than Oyashiro-sama, and if it was someone other than Oyashiro-sama, the only person I can think of is Rena, who's done something similar.
Okay. Yeah. Because though that and the ending are like when they were talking about it at the bonus scene, those were like the two most curse like murders, which is like or not curse like murders, curse like events that are hardish to explain in people form. So I was just fishing for your opinion. Which okay, okay. I guess another thing now that I think about it is, what do you think about this whole Keiichi sort of mimicking Satoshi's final actions? Not just like him being paranoid, but him specifically using a bat and apparently swinging it around like Satoshi and stuff like
Well,
that.
clearly he was possessed by Oyashiro-sama. Don't you know, Aiden? Oyashiro-sama possesses people by making them pick up bats. That's like his thing ever since the olden days.
The olden days.
Um, yeah, I think Oyashiro Sama is probably I don't know. I don't know, man. It could just be he's paranoid
Yeah.
and did the exact same things, and had the exact same thought process as Satoshi. Because Satoshi also spoke to Oishi, and
Right.
he went through the exact same motions as him for the most part.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Rena refers to that as being caused by Oshiro-sama. So perhaps Oshiro-sama or Oshiro-sama, whatever his name is like his curse has something to do with bats. I don't know. Like I,
Okay. Okay.
she specifically says, "Oh, I also picked up a metal bat." But what Rena did with the metal bat was nothing like what was Satoshi, as far as we know, was nothing like what Satoshi or Keiichi did with the metal bat. She only used it for that one time and broke all the windows in her school. So Oyashiro-sama's influence must be something about bats specifically, not necessarily how you use them.
Okay.
Right?
I do want to say, but Rena did actually assault 3 people at the school too.
She did, but Cage, but she didn't like walk around with the bat and
Yeah,
like
she wasn't
practice her
paranoid.
swinging, and she wasn't
Yeah.
practicing her swinging with the bat, and she wasn't, I don't know, telling people to walk ahead and then
Yeah, yeah.
swinging the bat at them violently, and she didn't like say, "Oh, I felt the presence behind me, and I swung at it, and I fell down, I hit my shoe shelf, and I broke it. Whoops."
Yeah,
She
yeah,
didn't
it
beat
wasn't
me
the
to death with it, try to inject me with a syringe, right? That none of that happened.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't exactly the same. It was kind of presented that it was more it seemed like the spur of the moment kind of thing.
Yeah. Whereas with Keiichi, there was at least 2 days where he had the bat, and Satoshi could have even been longer, right? We don't know how long it was for Satoshi. So
Yeah.
if it is Oshiro-sama's curse, it must just have something to do with using a metal vat and becoming somewhat violent, not paranoia. Although perhaps Rena was feeling paranoid at the time, we just didn't really notice it because she acted on it immediately. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, they did have this. We should have talked about like this after the incident. There was this interview where Rena was saying that Oyashiro was like watching her at her bed and stuff.
Although what I don't understand, and this is like a thing I noticed
Hmm.
but didn't mention, and when I played it, was Oyashiro-sama. Like Oishi said, oh, she said Oyashiro-sama's always watching at the bed. But when he told us what the nurse told him,
Yeah.
at no point did Rena say Oyashiro-sama's always at my bed. She only
Mm.
said it was Oyashiro-sama. So that perhaps would imply Oishi didn't actually tell us everything he knew about Rena, because at no point did he tell us how he learned that Oyashiro-sama was always at her bed.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, and that's a good segue to start talking about Oishi. You love him,
who
and
doesn't?
who doesn't? So do you fully like trust and believe what he says about
No,
stuff?
I don't fully trust and believe him. I like him
Mm.
because in this chapter he felt like someone reliable
Right.
to Keiichi, and he sort of was worked to absolve a lot of the fear and paranoia that I was feeling alongside him in this chapter, but I don't fully trust him. Firstly, Mion tells Rena in one of the hints that Oishi is in fact Toyoshiro-sama's messenger, to which
Hmm.
Rena seems to be somewhat surprised at, but also fully accepting of, right? And
Yes.
secondly, um, he's fully okay with putting the 16-year-old boy in great danger in order to find the truth, which is kind of screwed up Oishi. I'm just saying.
A little
And
bit.
thirdly, uh, the thing about how did he learn Rena Oyashiro-sama at the bedside? Was that just a mistake by the writer? Or perhaps I missed something. I kind of zoned out for a bit at one point. Or maybe he is hiding something about Rena that he didn't tell us. You know?
Okay, so
Plus, yeah, sorry, keep going.
oh no, I was just trying to say so you don't fully trust Oishi, but you think he's like still like trying to solve the mystery. He's not part of
I think
anything.
I, I think at the end of the day, he's trying to do something that's going against what the
The
director
doctor.
slash the manager wants. At one point, someone's dressed as a doctor. Okay.
Yes, there was that guy. Um, I guess I'll just ask. Do you have an idea who the manager slash director is?
It's Nipa. It's her.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could very well be her. It is true that in the first opening, she's the only one that does not cry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Cry. She's the only one that doesn't cry. And I seem to remember that in the very first part of the game, someone wasn't crying. We saw the part where the girl was apologizing profusely, and we saw the part where he was getting hit in his imagination, which didn't actually happen, but yeah. We saw him getting hit, but we didn't see crying. We didn't see the person not crying, and the only one who doesn't cry in the opening is Nippon. So she's the most likely
I
for the director.
I'm just gonna say this. I don't think it's a spoiler, but it's implied. And I think you might have just misread it, but Keiichi was the one doing the hitting, not getting hit.
Oh, Keiichi was hitting? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember.
No, no, yeah.
To be honest, I did not remember the prologue. I just remember hearing the sound effect. I don't remember the prologue that well. Not the
Yeah.
prologue, but the very beginning of the game. I just remember someone wasn't crying. I think it was the girl.
Yes.
Someone was getting hit, and when I heard the hit sound effect again, it made me think, oh, it's like the beginning of the game because it's a black screen and there's a hit sound effect.
Mm.
And I also remember, obviously, I'm sorry, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Although that's probably, now that I think about it, not the beginning of the game, since at the end, Keiichi also says he's sorry.
Mm. Okay.
I don't know.
It's just like it kind of changes the meaning if Keiichi's the one being or is the one hitting, not being hit. So just wanted to
does.
clarify that.
I should go back and look at the beginning of the game again.
Speed.
Sure. I want to get to the part where the game like, oh, this is the beginning of the game, you know. What was I saying? What was this about that I brought this up? Oh yeah, Rika. I mean, Nipa girl. Yeah, she's definitely the killer. I don't see how anyone else could be. Either that, or it's the amputated hand of the
hand, yeah.
of the manager. Yeah, it's one of the two.
That means the most innocent character is Satoko.
No.
What do you mean?
Rena.
Rena? Excuse me? Satoko literally did nothing wrong, bro. She did so little wrong. She just wasn't in the game.
She's a rapscallion. Rena is the most innocent because all that she does is good and all that she doesn't do is evil. So sorry, but yeah, I don't know who the I don't know. I wouldn't
I mean,
that one lady, I forgot her name, the one that disappeared to Tomitake, wouldn't she be the most innocent? She doesn't do anything.
That is true. She kind of just appears and then talks to you and dies.
Even Tomitake is more innocent because he literally does nothing.
He literally
dies. He throat and dies. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, actually, never mind. Okay. Like I think. No. It's okay. But I guess like another important, probably like the most, not maybe the most important, but an important aspect of the mystery is like, what is the motive? Like, do you have like any idea of like what could possibly be the motive for either the curse killings or Keiichi dying?
Well, honestly, with the curse killings, Oyashiro-sama is like, guys, stop leaving and coming to Hinamizawa. This is the Onikakushi. This is what the town should be called, by the way. I'll get all of you one day for that one. And you guys aren't allowed to leave. So shut up and die. That's the curse version, I guess. It doesn't really make that much sense, but whatever.
Okay.
I don't really think there's enough information to really come down to a motive yet for either one of them.
Yes. Sure.
With the other one, I believe it has something to do with the dam. That's when the murder started. Something to do with the dam, right?
Right.
As far as we know, that's when the murder started. Perhaps they started earlier and people just didn't think about them, which I don't really think is that likely. Um, yeah, I would think that the murders are occurring if it's people, is because of the dam and the manager or the director
Mm-hmm.
wishes to has some sort of control over the town, is managing this whole thing. I really have no idea what the motive is.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
really just talking.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. Yeah. It's just like
I cannot think of, I can't really think of anything that
Yeah.
is solid for either version. Like the only thing I can think of for people or curses, it has something to do with the fact that Oyashiro-sama acted as a warden over the Onikakushi town,
Right. Trying to isolate it. Yeah.
trying to isolate it. No, either way, that's kind of what it is. However, I don't know how that would actually play into the story yet, as I don't feel I have enough context. Maybe there's someone out there who figures everything out after the first chapter. I have no idea.
There definitely are geniuses. I'm not gonna lie. Some people just are built different. But no, like motive is definitely something to think about for sure. Like even in the extra section, they're like whether it's a curse or or a person. Like motive
There
is
has to be a
there
motive.
has to be a motive, and I would like to bring attention to like also the victim list, because that yes, it starts like the first murder is literally the person overseeing the construction of the dam. Then the next one is the dam supporters. Then it's Rika's parents who like didn't support the dam, but they weren't like really stepping up as leaders. And then the fourth one is like the 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 wife of the brother of the of the family that supported the dam. And then this fifth year, it's Tomitake, who Oishi was just implying, oh, he got killed because he was taking pictures. Like,
That's what Uishi said, but Mion said that she believed that the reason Tomitake came every year was to investigate what was up with the amputation. So in that
mm,
case, it's because he was delving too deep or trying to unearth things about the dam that they don't maybe want people to know about, you know?
that is true, but I would like to clarify. Keiichi thinks Tomitake's doing that. Mion,
Mion agreed. Mion agreed.
No. Mion implied that he was coming here for a different reason, and then Keiichi, but like looking at her face, Keiichi's like, "Oh, we're thinking of different reasons." And I'll just say it, she thinks it's because he's boning Tatuna.
Who?
The girl. He,
There's a
Mion's
lot of girls in this game, man.
Mion's implying that Tomitake comes to Hinamizawa a lot because he loves the girl that disappeared with him.
Oh, I see. I did not realize. I thought she meant because I thought he said because of the amputation. What happened at the dam? He said something like that, and then she said, "Yeah, I agree."
No, no, he says I think you said something along the lines of, I don't think Tomitake's here just for wild birds, and then Mion's like, oh, you saw through that too, Keiichi? And then like she kind of like made like some silly.
No, I think he brought up the amputation. I remember because I thought, oh, he brought up the amputation, and she didn't deny it. She agreed with him. You're probably right, but
Uh,
I just remember thinking that.
I'm definitely right because you remember that Rena and Mion at the beginning of the game were
Yeah,
hard denying
exactly. That's
that.
why I thought it was shocking at the time when she was like, "Yeah, I think it's all the amputation," because she's not denying it anymore. That's why it stood out to me.
No, you're misremembering, but
All right, sorry.
but I do think it's a plausible theory that he was killed for a different reason. That's not because he took pictures and going into the investigation side. Because Keiichi does believe that, and there's like a lot of implications that he's just not here for just wild birds. Because in the hint, when Oishi tries to look him up, he actually can't find someone in Tokyo with that name, right? So
Yeah, I remember that. He doesn't have the name.
so, so there's some mystique around him specifically.
Yeah,
And
so true.
I don't know if you remember Tatano, but she just to a reminder, she is like a nurse at the hospital. Just
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
I remember that the lady that was with Tomikaze and disappeared. I remember she was a nurse at the hospital.
Okay, just some facts about them because because that is like it kind of almost seems brushed a little just because like the game hard focuses on Keiichi getting killed, but I think to get the full story you gotta think of the other deaths too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought of them. I
Okay,
didn't
okay.
really think there was that much to her being a nurse at the hospital, except for the fact I assume the hospital isn't in Hinamizawa, since Hinamizawa is a small town so close
It
to a larger town. You'd think the hospital would just be there, unless it's different in Japan and most towns have their own hospitals.
I believe it's like in Hinamizawa. It's like closer to the town, but it's not in it because there was a scene where when Keiichi was pretending to have a cold, like he actually bites to the clinic. It's actually a clinic, not a hospital. I don't know why I called it a
Yeah, yeah,
hospital.
he like bikes there, so it's not too far away. You're right.
Yeah.
Because he has to drive out to town. You're right.
Hmm.
So, um, yeah, I remember that she was a nurse. I just didn't remember too much information standing out about her.
There wasn't.
Like it had her like her hobbies. She also enjoyed taking pictures of birds or something, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Like, there's nothing that really stood out about that woman at all. Um,
Mm.
so yeah,
Okay.
I
Yeah. I mean, you barely see her, so it's not it's not really like.
sorry,
Sort of-
that really stands out. It's like crazy. I messed up horribly.
No, no. You see her once, and she just helps telling you about the curse stuff with Tomitake. It's not like
She
she's.
does. That's true.
Okay, so that's mainly the most stuff I have to talk about. I guess I should ask, what do you think's gonna happen throughout the story going forward?
So obviously the first three are gonna be like learning information, I guess. So
Hmm.
yeah, I guess we'll learn more about Mion and her family, who seem to like run the town or
Right.
something.
Yeah, there was that hint.
Um, Also, we're gonna learn more about who Oishi is. We're gonna learn more about what happened to Rena and the metal bats. We're gonna learn more. I have a weird theory.
Okay.
I think I don't know if this is true, but will the past events change with each new chapter? Like in the second chapter, will what happened before, like Satoshi doesn't disappear this time? Would that be something that happens? That seems a bit needlessly confusing, but it's definitely a possibility.
I will say that again, it's like routes and other stories. It takes place in the same period and there are similar events. There are like as you read through the story, you will see like three throughout each chapter that there is stuff that always happens. Um and
Mhm.
and then you just use the differences to like but it is important to look out for when you are reading the future chapters like what stays the same because that might be important like what's like happens every
I'll
time.
make sure. I'll make sure. Like every time Rena comes to our door, and then we have to close it with our yeah. I'd love that scene happen every time.
Every time.
Um,
uh yeah, okay, that's do you have like any more theories I guess that I didn't like question?
any more theories? Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Ooh. Well, obviously, I think Satoko is completely innocent of the murders. She's not an innocent person by any means.
Okay.
Um. I think that. I think that if it's people, there's still if it's purely people, there's still something controlling Mion and Rena.
Okay.
Like some like disease. The only reason I don't think it would be that is because why would they both have multiple personalities, right? But there's something controlling them or something changing who they are fundamentally
Okay.
because like that's just their motivations are too wonky throughout the game. Even when they're just talking to themselves, it doesn't entirely make sense what they're saying, right?
Yeah, it would be weird, like if they're both like, yeah, like you said, split personality, but they're both like working together. Like there's,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Um, Rika, I'm sorry. Yeah, Rika. She doesn't have a split personality. She's just pure evil. Sato's also pure evil, but like in a different way. Um, I think, um, yeah, I can't really think of. Oh, I think Oishi might also be somehow a resident of Hinamizawa. Um,
Ye-
I'm only saying this because it's odd that his mother knows so much of the mythology surrounding Hinamizawa if she's not from there. Although it could be she's just an outsider who heard rumors when she was younger, you know.
yeah. There. I mean, I don't know how. Um. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll just say yeah.
Uh, you'll just say yeah. All right, cool. Just say yeah. Uh, I think that I think it's really odd that Keiichi died a few days after the Watanagashi. He died in the same way that the other guy died
Right.
because that never happened before. That
Yeah.
and also I wonder if Satoshi disappeared on the Watanagashi because Mion and Rena both say not only that Oishi spoke to Satoshi prior to his disappearance, but also that he started doing the bad thing. Although it's entirely possible he just did that a few days before the Watanagashi occurred.
Yeah. I don't.
Um,
I don't know if they talked about that specifically too much yet. So I don't know. Uh can't answer anything about Satoshi, I think, yet.
okay. I also think that I don't know.
If that's it, it's fine. I'm just if you
I
wanna.
know I'm going through, it's a pretty long game. I'm just thinking of everything that I thought throughout.
Hmm.
Um, I think Rena is a good girl deep down somehow, some way. You know,
Right.
maybe she tries to kill you a couple times, but whatever. You know, like yeah, that's all I got. That's all I can think of. Maybe I'll think
No.
of something right after this.
Yeah. No. That's good. You know, it's like they say, it's a prologue. You're just getting this information, and it's very hard to really
That makes me sick.
formulate too much.
That makes me feel like I'm completely wrong.
I
But
I don't think you're. I mean, you're not. I'm not saying you're completely wrong. It's just that it's definitely like impossible to answer like completely correctly with just the information you have.
I'm sure
Um,
has anybody do you since you watch a bunch of people, I want to know. Has anybody answered like not completely correctly but super on point?
Not from chapter one. No.
Not from chapter 1. Okay. That would
I
be really cool if somebody did.
no. I mean, there's some smart guys. For sure that I think it would definitely be an achievement if you get like 80% of it like complete like by chapter 4. They do start like there are some like easier things they start spitballing to you, but um
Okay.
I think in general like I think in general like Higurashi, while it's a mystery and a horror, it's like it's not like Umineko where that's a mystery before a horror. I feel like this one, like there is a mystery, but it's not like something that's like as
Yeah,
easy to solve.
the standout thing to me with this game is the horror elements.
Hmm.
The
Yeah, like
mystery felt like it only existed to add to that horror, you
yeah,
know.
it's like the opposite.
When
And
I was playing, I was like, what's going on? I was more like, oh god, you know, the whole time. How do I get out of this situation? I don't care what's happening. I just don't want to do this anymore, you know?
yeah, this is definitely like a mystery thriller. Where the next series is like a whodunit detective story.
Yeah. I
So
wonder. I have heard Umineko is significantly better, according to pretty much universally. But if it tops this game, that would actually be really impressive. This is really good. This is
I
the first chapter, at least. Maybe it falls off. Maybe it just gets really terrible.
I mean I love Higurashi. I do think Umineko is better. I don't think it's like super better or whatever. It's just different because it's like a, especially since I read Umineko first when going into Higurashi. I thought this would be like like a big mystery where I need to like look at every angle and stuff, but it's not something like as clean as that. Like if you think of like this like the answer might not be, actually I don't know what I'm saying. But anyways, they're both good games. Umineko is like definitely more autistic. I shouldn't say autistic. I just said it. It's like it's just like wild, like people just debating each other and stuff. It's very funny. Umineko feels like a bit more, or Higurashi feels like more. I don't know, like the slice of life stuff feels better. Sometimes the horror feels a bit better. It's
Makes sense.
it's a different experience basically, and I have no idea about the third
I'm sure
series
the
because
art's
I haven't read
better
it.
in Higurashi. This is the third series?
Yeah,
I genuinely thought there was just two of them.
yeah, it's called Ciconia when they cry. I have no idea what it's about. I'll read it eventually, but
Is it Englished?
it is, but the
When they
author
looked it up, when they looked it up, I accidentally wrote Sasonia when they game.
when they game. But
Okay, that came up was fan art of Sonia from Sonic Underground crying.
okay, you probably spelled it wrong, but it's okay. You don't need to look it up.
Yes, I want to just look what I just want to see what it looks like. Do it later. Anyways,
Okay.
yeah. Is it the same like style of thing where they like force you into like a specific route for each game that you buy separately?
Ciconia, I think, comes in a. I think both Umineko and Ciconia, there's only, or at least Umineko's only 2 games you buy, and they come with 4 chapters each.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Ciconia only has like 1 game released, and apparently they've been waiting like, it's been like 3 years, 2 or 3 years since they released the next one, so fans are just waiting. They're
Oh
trying.
wow. Okay. And Umineko's 8 or is it 1?
Uh, it's 8 chapters, but 2 games you have to buy.
All right. And what's Umineko mean?
When the seagulls cry. Because Umineko means seagulls, even though it says sea cats. I know.
It's sea cats. Oh, that makes so much sense. I was like, sea cats. What the sea like sea lions?
Yeah, it's weird.
What was I thinking about the Wait, what's Hinamizawa mean? I was wondering what, because we know what Onikakushi means, but what's Hinamizawa mean? Like, why'd they change it to that?
I think that's, I don't know. Isn't it just a name?
It's a name, but there's supposed to be some meaning to the name. Like, they didn't just name it gibberish.
Okay, first off, don't Google anything about Higurashi because there's so many spoilers.
I didn't want to Google it, so
I know.
just do instead.
I know. I literally just Googled it, and like the autocomplete has like a huge spoiler. So never Google Hinamizawa.
Hinamizawa, Rika is the director. Is that what came up?
It spoils something, but um, it doesn't really say when I'm looking at the wiki. I think
Write Hinamizawa meaning into Google, maybe.
okay. Yeah, I mean, naturally they want to change the name because Demon Village is dumb.
Exactly. But I wonder what they changed it to. Perhaps there's some meaning to it.
Hinamizawa. It doesn't say, no. It's
Sad.
it's based on a real town though.
I'm sure it's not named after the town. That'd be weird.
It's not.
Or maybe it is actually, because they use photos from a town.
No, you know Shirakawa-go?
No.
The place. It's like a famous town like they use for samurai movies and stuff. They also use that for Higurashi. So
Oh, I see. Okay. Neat.
yeah. I will go there one day, but I haven't yet.
You'll go. You'll be like, oh my god, it was like the
I'm in
background from
Hinamizawa.
You'll
Yeah, dude.
like you'll be yelling that, you like shaking the locals, like it's the shoe, it's the school.
Bro,
Oh,
I mean, it's literally there. Like Keiichi's house is
this
there.
is the forest. This is the forest.
It's the forest. It's dude. Title for title for the vlog. Title for the vlog. I went to Hinamizawa IRL. I prayed at Rita's shrine.
Yeah. I hope Rinko doesn't kill me. Yeah.
uh Anyways, I think we can close out. Abus, do you have any questions? The only like question I saw was, do you think Mion was evil even when she was not possessed?
So she's possessed then.
No, she's just like evil even if
I know,
she
I know,
wasn't
I know what Pygmalion is.
Pygmalion. Isn't that
Alyssa just looked at the chat. He said Pygmalion. I know what Pygmalion is.
that's a play, right?
Yeah, it's an ancient Greek play. I think.
I,
About a
bro,
guy who
I
takes his statue to life and has sex with her or something.
yeah, dude,
Yeah, Pygmalion. Why would
it
you say that? Why'd you just randomly tell me to do that, Avis?
that
I
is
can't think of
weird.
anything I said that would all make you think of Pygmalion. Pygmalion.
I actually had to do a project in university about Pygmalion where you had to make like a modern adaptation, and I got a fucking 98 on that. It was the highest mark I've ever gotten in university. It was crazy.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was just like a modern story of some guy turning a mannequin to life, and then the mannequin eats him while they're having sex.
That
That's
sounds great, actually. Actually, I really like that one.
it was great. It was.
That's really good. I see why I got 98%. Also about the Mion question,
Yeah.
um, is I don't think she was. Depends on what you mean by evil. Um,
That's yeah,
you know,
okay. Because I guess
I
she
think
is
there's
from that.
I think there's two separate entities or whatever within her, or whatever that means, or there's some other at the end when she's gonna inject you with the shot. I don't think that's the same Mion.
Right, right.
And I do not believe in any way that the Mion we see throughout the game is completely innocent.
Okay, so yeah, so she might be a little sussy, but she's not normally like murderous or creepy,
She
right?
might still be murderous. I
Okay.
just believe that Mion is not the same Mion, right? I
Right,
just
right.
don't believe that to be the case. I could be totally wrong, but yeah.
No, that's okay. Um, I guess we'll just wrap up here then. If you do want to ask
I
Jack
also
for...
actually I did have one more theory. I remembered
Okay,
just
hit
now.
it, hit
The
it, hit
mom
it.
and the dad. The mom and the dad. They have not yet revealed why they moved to Hinamizawa. I don't get it. What if they are also former residents of Hinamizawa, like Rena was, and so they're in on the whole thing? And that's how they knew to check behind the clock, because when he told the parents who were actually in on it, um, Keiichi himself even says it's somewhat unnatural that they would suddenly have to leave to Tokyo. Usually they tell him beforehand.
Yeah.
Also, the only thing I have that might not be true, other
Mhm.
than I just think it'd be odd, is he put the syringe behind the clock,
Yes.
meaning it might have been obvious something was behind there, as opposed to when it was just the note.
Maybe. I don't. Yeah, I guess you don't know the size of it. They imply that there's like this like there's a shape of it like in tape, so I think it probably like fit snugly, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
if it fit, then one of obviously Oyashiro or someone knows everything, but also it could just be that the parents somehow are part of this whole shebang.
Okay, okay. I mean, yeah, they don't fully explain why the parents moved there. I think they just mention it was like for a change of pace, but that's not like really an
Yeah, they're like,
explanation.
Why would you go to this horror town?
Yeah, that is true. The parents are mysterious. Like, what does the father actually draw? Keiichi's never seen his art.
Yeah, Keiichi's never seen, which is also super weird.
It is very
Like
weird.
he goes in, it's just drawings of this like weird. I always imagine Oyashiro-sama, by the way, as like this like frog guy on a cloud. That's always how I imagine him.
A fraud?
So and he's a frog, and he's like on a cloud, like and like he's like floating around, you know.
That's something.
And he's like got like a little frog beard, you know.
A fraud
I think he
beard.
draws Oyashiro. Um, but like yeah, and like it's super weird that Keiichi knows nothing about what his father does, especially since Keiichi tells his dad that he wants to be a painter in the future. Wouldn't his dad like try to help him become one? At least show him what he does? That's super suspect.
That yeah, that is weird. I wonder if he like really never seen anything though. Like you'd imagine because they made their house into a gallery.
Yeah, and he says that he's never even been in parts of the house where the gallery is. He's never been to that part of the house. That's super weird. You'd think that dad would at least invite him in occasionally.
True. Also, Owl or Abus, you better not be talking about a Haniwa because they're not ugly. But it would be funny if he looked like a Haniwa. Oh yeah, sure, Sama.
It would be very funny if he looked like a Haniwa. Maybe he
Uh.
rants himself. Actually, yeah, very randomly.
uh. Oh man. Anyways, I think we're pretty good here.
It's a really long interview. Wow.
Yeah, maybe I can put this in the podcast section because there's a podcast section in the channel, and I've
Oh,
never.
but then nobody. How does that even work?
Oh wait, is there not? I thought there was. I don't know.
I see about channels, community playlists, live shorts, videos, home. Yeah, no podcast.
Oh, never mind. Maybe they took it out. I mean, it doesn't really matter. um, but yeah, we'll wrap this up. I mean, if you want to catch this live, you gotta check out the live streams. I mean, I guess I'll probably put it ahead of time more because I kind of just put up the announcement like a couple hours ago. Uh,
Yeah, it would also be smart to like say the time in like your about section or whatever.
yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. If you have any questions too, you could leave them on the video, and we can work those in somehow. Um, but yeah, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to sub to the channel and check out more in the future. Of course, check out Abus, not Abus. I mean, you could check out Abus's channel. He has one short, and
Yeah,
it's
it's a pretty great short. Have you seen it?
yeah, I did see it. I commented on it. Yeah, that was wild. Check out Jack's kit, which I'll post in the description. It's Vol Racer. And maybe one day I'll put it to YouTube so you can watch it normally. You should definitely at least like save the videos if you're not gonna upload them to YouTube
Well,
anyways.
they're all on Kick, aren't they? So why would
I
I
th-
save them?
I think eventually they will get deleted. Like I think
Oh
there's
shoot, really?
I think you're fine for now. I think all my tick vids are still up, but I think eventually there's like a limit to how much it saves. That's how it does it on
Dang.
Twitch. So
All
just like
right,
rip
sounds
them,
good.
put it on like a hard drive since you have like no space on your laptop, and just leave them there.
Sounds good. We're definitely gonna have to edit this outro down.
Don't worry about it. It's classic. We're just rambling here.
All right. Yeah, I'll make sure to save them all. I also will try to clean up my computer space. A lot of it's in my downloads. I don't want to get rid of my downloads. I'm always like, but what if I need my my Laxius Power Windows English Ultimate version? You know, what what if I need my 3 different folders of Mawari Penguin Drum?
Okay,
What about
true.
Part A, Example 1, Lord
Yeah,
Durham's report? I need that.
true.
Wow.
All right. Anyways,
Anyways,
thanks for having coming to the show.
yes,
And
thank you, and be sure to yeah. Oh, by the way, I should probably I live stream typically at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.
1 p.m. EST.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
1 p.m. EST, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So
yeah, just
come on
check
down
it out on Kick.
if you wish.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, check it out on Kick.
all right. See you next time. Have fun with Watanabe. That's the next chapter name, by the way. It's named
Yeah,
after the festival.
I feel like this chapter should have been called What Nagashi. It's what we focus on for the most part.
Yeah, that's fair. Onikakushi is
Okay,
kind of a
one
part.
person got demoned away in this story, and we barely focused on her. But Keiichi didn't even get demoned away at the end. They find his corpse.
Yeah,
They really
yeah.
find it called an Onikakushi because nobody gets Onikakushi except for that one woman who does nothing. Like maybe I'll be on the 8th chapter and I'll be like, that's why it's called Onikakushi. Oh, what a deep meaning. But right now it seems a bit odd.
I mean, I'm down to be honest. I think every other chapter after Watanadashi's name doesn't like really relate to the story directly like these two do. So
Oh, okay.
they just they,
I guess they just name it random. Like this one was called baseball. You know, they can't think of names.
yeah, maybe.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Outro. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Get out of here. Bye.